son the other day, and I was walking by the curb, and he was walking on the other side, and I saw his face go like this, and this, and then he goes, "Oh God!" And then he comes and he walks around. He makes me walk by the bushes, and he walks by the curb. And I said, "I saw you struggling over there," and he said, "Yeah, yeah, I just can't not do it." Because he'd be mad. My husband never let me walk on the curb side of the street. He felt his job was to protect me at all costs. I need a lot of protection because I don't know what I'm doing half of the time. And he
As
saw
most
that
women,
all
I
the
feel like.
time. And son 606, which was who I was walking with, always thought he was over the top with it. Always thought it was a little. He took it to the point where it was silly, and he thought walking on the curbside was silly, but he was raised by that man, and that's what that man believed in. And I tell you, it's so fascinating to figure out what the man of the house is supposed to do, because I think what the man of the house does depends in part on the house he comes from. I'm gonna tell you about the first man of the house argument my husband and I had. First argument we really had. We were married. We were upstairs in the bed. The alarm went off. He gets up to go downstairs. As he reaches the downstairs landing, he turns around and sees me right behind him.
Get back upstairs.
And he went,
Yep. What you
like,
doing
go
out
back
here? Get
upstairs. Go back
upstairs.
upstairs. I said, go back upstairs. He was so mad, so I went back upstairs.
Mhm.
And then, it wasn't nothing. The alarm went tripped off. And then we had the argument. And the argument was, why in God's name would you come down here? This is my job. You're supposed to call the police and jump out of a window if something's going wrong. What are you doing? And I said, well, at my house, my parents would have done that together. My mother was from the south side of Chicago. She wasn't going to let a man go down there by herself. And that's how I learned how to do things, that it was
Mm.
us against them. And his contention was, and the point was not lost on me. His contention was he can't fight
If you're
full
there.
throttle if he's worried about where I am.
If you're
And
there.
my
And even like in action movie shows, they'll change if they're real heroes, they'll hold themselves back intentionally because if they let themselves, go full power, then the whole area that they're fighting in, the whole environment is going to be destroyed. And if there's people there, they're going to get hurt. So they intend to not fight full power and try to find other means of winning the battle, or they'll just relocate, which in most cases is kind of hard to just tell your enemy, hey, let's go over here and fight because I don't want to fight around these people. They're just going to be like, it was good with you. But I definitely understand what he's saying. He's going to be too worried about her if anything is actually going to pop off because she could be, in the line of fire by accident, whatever the case may be. Something could ricochet or whatever the case may be, and she could get hurt. I haven't been in that situation, but I guess I've kind of been brainwashed into thinking that could be a very high possibility because of, most movies that you watch and whatnot. But it could very well happen. So that's the mindset that a lot of men have.
counter argument was, yeah, but this is my house. I know where all the knives and the sharp things are in the kitchen. While you're engaging wherever you are, I slip up from behind, grab a utensil, and assist from the back when they never expected to see it coming.
Okay, that's
Now,
interesting.
I lost that argument. I still think I was right about going downstairs with him, and you will never convince me otherwise. 2-on-1 is better. We know the house. I know where all the knives are. I just believe that, but whatever.
That's an interesting
But
topic.
I realized since he's died that for him, being the man of the house was building fences around me wherever I might land. I have one of these brains that is unsettled. It don't want to sit down nowhere. It want to go over here, then it want to go over there, then we're gonna go up, and then we're gonna go down. We're gonna go and uh he ran around behind me and built fences around everywhere I landed. Whatever I was doing, he was the he was the fence. He wouldn't let anything harm me over there. He just built fences around me because I would be scared. Oh, I can't do that. Yeah, you can, baby. I'm right here. And when he said he was right here, he was right there. So I got into it with somebody. I don't know what to do. I go in and I'd ask him. Well, he taught me how to wait. He taught me you don't have to respond to people right away. He taught me to be cool. He taught me to be definitive. He taught me to say no without explanation. So his job as the man of the house was protect the chick that he had in it. Now, everybody asks me, I said, well, did he lead your house? And, it depends on how you look at it. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't, we were in it to win it together. I
Mm-hmm.
had abilities that he didn't. He had abilities I didn't. Neither one of us could have gotten where we got without the other one. And everybody had their area of expertise, you know? And we had a weird thing. We did all of our major decisions together. And
Mm-hmm.
it was always, it wasn't, this is what we all done. It's like, well, this is what I think. Well, this is what I think. Well, we wanted to come to a consensus or a conclusion because we wanted to use the best of my brain with the best of his brain. And our brains were good in other areas to have the best solution. If we couldn't come to an agreement, it depends on what the topic was. If it was about accounting or money or home repair or something, I'd let him make the call. If it was about legal stuff, something about schooling of the kids or the medicine or whatever, that was my fastball. And and that's what I did. So I don't think it's I don't know. You gotta love the person that you're with. And you got to love the person that you're with in a manner that allows them to feel that love. And you can't feel that love. They can't feel the love you give if you don't understand the kind of love they need. Um,
Yep.
I,
I know there's some people that's not a fond of the love languages, and I get it because a lot of people try to put heavy emphasis on the love languages, but it's really just a matter of, yo, this person likes this person likes that. So if you really love somebody, every now and then do what they like. I mean, it's as simple as that. I can't talk because I definitely need to work on it myself, but that's essentially it. Let's not dive deep into, oh, what's your love language? What's your third love language? What's your second love language and stuff like that. Try to put heavy emphasis. It's just a good idea to know what it is that that person, you know, subconsciously appreciates, and, what gets them happy, especially in a marriage.
I could have never married my daddy. And my mama could have never married my husband because they had very different ideas of what it was to be the man of the house.
It's understandable.
But we were both married forever.
Now, I don't know Judge Lynn's spiritual background. Um, I just know that when I was younger, I used to watch, when I had my downtime, I think she was in Marriage Court, if I recall. And I watched her a lot. And the thing that really made me attracted to Judge Lynn way back then was that her knowledge and her understandings of a relationship. Honestly, I think what allowed me to what allowed me to be as successful as some people would say in my relationship was because of the stuff that I learned from people who had actual advice, people that were married, and people that were, trying to point out the flaws that some people may have. Not saying that our relationship are flaws, that isn't yours. But what I'm saying is, if there is something that isn't working out, then we find the root cause of what the issue is. And that's what she did a lot, was find the root cause. And just that knowledge of using logic, using reason, and not just going off of straight emotion really attracted me to her back when I was younger. I don't even know how. I want to say early college, like high school. I think. I mean, I honestly can't. It was just a while ago. But the thing I really wanted to point out is, when it comes to being a man in a household, people don't like the term being the man in the household. But we're, as a Christian specifically, we're given specific tasks when it comes to being a man. When it comes to being married, there's a way that we should be living, a way that should be going about our marriages. I know this is the verse, this is the verses that women specifically hate. And men tend to, I don't want to say this happens anymore. I don't really talk to men like that doesn't think otherwise. But especially growing up, especially in the Haitian culture, the men, not all of them, but a lot of the men feel like I'm the chief, I'm the head of the household. You're supposed to respect me. The Bible says that you're supposed to submit to me, so you submit, but with a strong fist. And that's not how we're supposed to be living our marriages. They may think that, but that's all part of culture. We're going to be living in a marriage. Yes, I'm the head of the household, but that doesn't mean that you are lesser than me when it comes to certain decisions and making sure that this household has the resources that it needs and being protected and guarded. Then yes, that is where I stand as the house. But the women are the producers. The women are the one that creates, that expand, that help grow, hence help growing the family, help maintain the house, help producing the food that we eat, and all that stuff. So the verse that everybody hates is Ephesians 5:22-24. Wives, submit yourselves to your husbands as you do to the Lord. For the husband is the head of the wife, as Christ is the head of the church, his body, of which he is the Savior. Now, as the church submits to Christ, so also wives submit to their husbands in everything. So with the wives, it's not necessarily the idea of you just gotta submit. First off, you need to submit to your husband as you submit to the Lord. If the Lord isn't the first front of your life, if there you have stuff that's above the Lord, then it's gonna be hard to submit to your husband, just point blank, period. And I have a video that I'm gonna be doing soon with a female rapper with Lecrae, and she talks about this, how it was hard to submit to her husband because she was so self righteous in her eyes and like just being self independent. So in the next verse, it says specifically, and this is for the husbands, verse 25, husbands, love your wives just as Christ loved the church and gave himself up for it, meaning he protected it. He made sure that he was standing in front and willing to, and he died for the church so that the church can be saved. The same, we must do the same for our wives. That doesn't mean that you're above the wife. That doesn't mean that you are better than the wife. That just means that you have a duty to protect and to love and to care for the church, just as Jesus did. And likewise, the wives who love the Lord, who loves the Lord above, also submit to your husbands. And the thing that I liked about what she said when she says that they made the decisions together, this is another thing that really should come into play when it comes into relationships, which a lot of marriages, they don't. They just kind of decide on things on their own. Men and women alike, they just decide to do things without really communicating to the other or having a clear conscience. We're supposed to be in one body. Genesis 2:24 says, that is why man leaves his father and mother and is united to his wife, and they become one flesh, not two fleshes, one flesh. They are one get it. And with that mindset, when you're working, when you're dealing with the kids, when you're dealing with just everything in general, it's supposed to be you and your spouse making decisions together because you are one. We're not supposed to be allowing other people to help make decisions. You can take advice. The thing that I always go off of when it comes to decision making is I'll take your advice and I will consider it upon decision making. But I have to have this conversation with my wife first before, we just decide whatever it is that you got to say. Everything has to be taken as advice because at the end of the day, it's between you and your spouse because you two are one. But y'all let me know what y'all think. What's the role of the man in the house? What should the man be doing? You guys think differently from what I think? Y'all comment in the section below. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Peace.